Welcome to your November Newswire briefing. You know, our goal here is to connect the dots between those big, confusing headlines and what they actually mean for your business and your strategy. So let's just jump right in. I want to start with just one number that really it sets the whole scene for us. £20.2 billion. That's how much the UK government had to borrow in September alone. It's a massive figure, and it's basically a giant flashing sign telling us there are some serious economic headwinds coming our way. And that leads us to the big question, right? This is the highest borrowing for a September in 5 years. But what does a number that huge actually mean? For you, for your business decisions, your finances, your long-term plans? That's exactly what we're going to break down. So first up, let's get a real handle on just how much pressure the economy is under. This is especially important with the Chancellor's budget right around the corner. And believe me, this isn't just some abstract headline. It has very, very real consequences. Just look at the scale of the challenge here. Borrowing is up by £1.6 billion compared to this time last year. You know, numbers in the billions, they can start to feel a bit unreal, but that is a significant jump, and it points to the country's financial position, well, getting worse.
So why is this happening? You might be thinking, well, with more people working and prices going up, isn't the government collecting more in taxes? And yeah, you'd be right. The problem is, spending is climbing even faster. It's being driven by these massive interest payments on our national debt and a whole lot of other costs that are tied to inflation.
And here you can really see that squeeze in action. Just in September, nearly £10 billion, that's half of all borrowing, went just to paying interest on debt. That's a huge chunk of money that just can't be spent on public services or investment or, the tax cuts that a lot of people might be hoping for.
So this creates a massive, massive dilemma for the Chancellor. On one hand, you have a public promise, no raising the headline rates of the 3 biggest taxes. But on the other hand, analysts are saying an extra £27 billion is needed just to balance the books. So how on earth do you square that circle?
Well, this is where the conversation turns to what people call stealth taxes. Instead of raising the rates, the government could just freeze the tax thresholds. That means as your pay rises with inflation, you get pulled into higher tax bands and you pay more tax without the rate ever changing. Other options could be things like reforming property taxes or maybe reducing tax reliefs on ISAs and pensions. The key takeaway here is simple. Your tax bill could go up even if the headline rates don't move an inch. Okay, let's pivot. Let's shift away from that big economic picture and talk about 2 immediate operational changes that businesses really need to act on right now. Seriously, these aren't future problems. They're happening as we speak.
First up is the new digital ID scheme. Think of it like a digital passport or a secure app on your mobile phone. It's a new government system, and it's set to become the standard, default way that employers verify a person's right to work here in the UK.
So, what do you really need to know? Well, this is going to be mandatory before the next election, so the time to get ready for this is now. The whole goal is to make compliance easier for you, and there's a consultation coming soon where you can actually have your say. And it's important to remember there will be other options for people who can't use a smartphone. The second big operational issue is cybersecurity. And this quote from the Security Minister, Dan Jarvis, just nails it. The whole mindset has to shift from if an attack is going to happen to when it happens. This isn't just an IT problem anymore. It's a core issue of business survival. And check this out. Here is a massive blind spot for most companies. A staggering 86% of UK businesses don't assess the cyber risks from their own suppliers. Think about that. Your own defenses could be rock solid, but one weak link in your supply chain can bring your entire operation to its knees. So, what can you do about it? What's the practical action? Well, the government's actually made it pretty simple to get started. First, use the National Cybersecurity Center's free toolkit. It's there for basic protection. And second, think about getting Cyber Essentials certification. It's a really clear way to prove to your customers and your partners that you take this stuff seriously. Okay, so we've talked about the immediate pressures, the tasks you need to do now. Let's zoom out. Let's build on that idea of resilience and focus on planning for the long haul, on how to ensure your organization has lasting success. Now, this economic pressure we talked about, it's hitting the third sector especially hard. You can see here the number of charities reporting that they're spending more than they're bringing in, it's climbing. That trend is a huge warning sign for the financial health of the entire sector. The Charity Commission has pretty much identified a perfect storm of risks. Deficits are going up, demand for services is increasing, but reserves are getting smaller. And on top of all that, any misuse of funds, no matter how small or rare, poses a huge threat to public trust. Honestly, for any trustees watching, this is your priority checklist right here. But this long-term thinking, it isn't just for charities. You know, when Spotify's founder, Daniel Ek, announced he was stepping back, it was such a powerful reminder for every single business owner. It doesn't matter if you're a global giant or a local shop. At some point, you need a plan for what comes next.
The crucial point here is that preparation is everything. It means building a leadership team that can actually run things without you. It means getting all those brilliant processes out of your head and into systems that other people can use. And it means planning the actual story of the transition. Look, this isn't just about leaving. It's about protecting the value that you spent years of your life building.
And that really brings us to our final question for today. When you think about it, from weathering budget shocks and cyber threats to planning your own succession, the underlying theme is exactly the same. So ask yourself this: are you just reacting to the crisis of the day, or are you building an organization with the structures, the resilience, and the vision to truly last? That's the question to take away with you.